Hello, it's Rachel again from New Zealand. Today I just wanted to talk a little bit about my Judicial Committee meeting experience. I had a judicial meeting in June 2013. What led up to this was, I guess like many witnesses, I had quite a few doubts. Starting right back at the beginning, I was baptised in 1990, and straight away I had difficulties with the subject foreknowledge, and my insight volume is scribbled all over on that topic. Yes, the teaching that Jehovah can foresee anything, but he chooses not to. Bit of a problem with that. Anyway, I brushed that under the carpet like one does. The next serious sort of doubt was with the change of the understanding of the generation in, I think, 1995, and I viewed it suspiciously because at that point, leading up to that, it was thought that Armageddon was going to come any day now, but we knew that there were countries like China that hadn't been touched. So there was a need for extending the time out to make Armageddon further away, and I thought that that's what the governing body were doing. They were just reacting to the evidence in the world and changing things. I mentioned it to a few people, but you know, I didn't get any bites. Anyway, so that got shoved under the carpet. And anyway, in recent years, like perhaps the last 10 years, I had noticed, like a lot of ex-witnesses have noticed, that there was a considerable dumbing down of the literature. Watchtower studies became less meaty. The talks at assemblies became very simple, with the introduction of those symposiums that had only 10-minute parts in them, so there was no time to get into anything deep. All the constant talks about avoiding pornography and things like this, I thought, oh gosh, okay. And we're inviting people to come and hear this because Jehovah's organisation are morally upright people, so it's a little bit strange. But it wasn't until finally, when the July 15th Watchtower came out, actually it was prior to that, at the annual general meeting the year before, in 2012, where governing body members announced the change in the understanding of the appointment of the faithful and discreet slave over all the master's belongings. Up until that time, it was taught that the faithful and discreet slave were all anointed remnant on earth. It was changed to just the governing body alone, and previously they had taught that the faithful and discreet slave had been appointed over all the master's belongings in 1919. Now they've changed that to a future appointment. So in my mind, I saw that they had really lost their authority. They'd given away the basis for their supposed authority. Therefore, all my doubts were legitimate. So that gave me the courage, I guess, to speak out. Also, at about the time that I was going through all this, it was pretty intense, emotionally traumatic time, really, as you can understand if you've gone through the same thing, the waking up process. I was trying out a new medication for my chronic headaches, and it made me a little bit uninhibited with what I said. So I was at a convention in January 2013. It was actually the 2012 convention, but it was held in January in New Zealand. And I mentioned to a sister at lunchtime that our organisation was hypocritical. And she kind of agreed. And she insisted that it was still Jehovah's organisation. And I said, yeah, I'm not sure. Which kind of freaked her out a bit. Then I said something about me not being sure as to whether Jehovah wanted me to stay or to leave the organisation, which you can imagine freaked her out even more. And then I said something like, I'm going to start speaking up and I'm not going to be very popular. And I mean, I've seen a few other things as well. And well, that was it. She packed up, this was at lunchtime, she packed up her picnic lunch very quickly and ran away. And you know, in hindsight, I'm kind of not surprised really, because what I said was kind of shocking for a witness to hear. So, but my daughter and I just stood there, just dumbfounded really at her reaction, and to this day now I'm quite grateful for that reaction, because it helped me see just the phobic nature of the organisation. You know, they create phobias and fears in witnesses so that they can't bear to hear anything negative or critical about Jehovah's organisation. So anyway, because of that, I decided that I would not let my daughter continue going to the meetings, and I at that time stopped going as well. This sister immediately reported me to an elder, and I actually wrote to him and explained my situation, and that I was sorry that I'd upset her. I phoned her and apologised, because she was really upset. So I explained to this brother that I wasn't going to come to the meetings for a while, and you know, left it at that. And he decided to come and visit me on his own, and I explained my position and that I'd lost confidence in the governing body, and explained some of my concerns and issues. And he more or less begged me to allow him to come back with another brother, with another elder. And I said, oh no, there's no point. You're not going to change my mind. You just, no, don't worry about it. And he absolutely insisted. So in the end, I allowed him to come back with another brother. And he did say at the time, oh, I think he'll be all right. So I don't know what he was meaning by that. This was a very soft elder, very soft, loving elder. Anyway, he came back with the other elder on 2 occasions, and I explained my position to them. And the other elder, he wouldn't beat around the bush. He said, so, you know, what do you want to do then? And I said, well, what are my options? You know, what choices do I have? And he said, well, put it this way, if you had joined the Working Men's Club and you had agreed to follow all their rules and procedures, and then you decided you didn't want to follow those rules and procedures, then you would either resign or get kicked out. So it was clear to me that I was only being offered 2 choices, and I explained to them that, well, I'm not resigning. And I said to him, I guess I'll see you at my judicial then. And he looked absolutely dumbfounded. He kind of laughed. Like, oh. Anyway, they said they'd go and talk to the elder body about it. And I didn't hear anything for a couple of weeks. And I thought, oh, good, maybe they're just going to leave me alone then, because I hadn't been attending meetings. And I hadn't been spreading any ideas. But then one evening I got a knock on the door, and it was the nice elder and another one, saying yes, they've decided to have a judicial meeting, and it would be on the grounds of apostasy. So to be honest, I was a little bit shaken. I kind of was hoping they'd leave me alone. I was prepared to go through with it, but yeah, I felt a little bit sick and a bit nauseous after they left. It was in 3 days' time that I had the meeting. I actually have a recording of it, which is on JW Struggle, and it's called I Refuse to Disassociate, You Must Disfellowship Me. I think that's what it's called. I'll put the link below. It's a bit long, but the meeting itself was very friendly. Lots and lots of laughing. You'd hardly think that they were talking to a wicked, evil, dirty, predatory, insincere, horrible apostate, like the governing body would like you to believe apostates are. In fact, the nice elder thanked me for my honesty, and he said that that was my nature to be honest. Yet they must now believe that I am not. Or they certainly probably have allowed the rest of the congregation to believe that. So yeah, it was really odd. You'll probably find little bit odd the way I spoke and handled it. At the time, I felt very compelled to go through with this meeting, and I really wanted to point out to the elders, as if they didn't already know, how wrong some of the procedures are, especially disfellowshipping, and how much inconsistency there is. You know, for example, I brought up how you can be disfellowshipped for smoking, but not for stuffing your face full of cream buns and getting heart disease. You know, all the legal medications that you can have that cause a lot of harm to your body as well, yet those seem to be okay. There's just so much consistency, and people's lives are ruined over these arbitrary little rules that are made. So anyway, once again during the meeting, this brother said, so what do you want to happen? And I said, I want you to disfellowship me. Which might sound a bit strange, but yeah, I was being over righteous much, I don't know. But I told them I wanted to feel what it felt like for those who had been disfellowshipped and deemed as wicked people, because of course anyone disfellowshipped is a wicked person, or very weak and unrepentant and, you know, horrible. So I wanted to know what it felt like. A bit crazy, but then in hindsight I will never really know what it feels like for a lot of brothers and sisters, because I had no family there that I was going to be cut off from. My son had already stopped attending and my daughter left with me, so yeah, so I really don't know that dreadful pain of being separated from your family. Anyway, I have absolutely no regrets over anything I said or did. I deliberated as to whether I should share the video, because I genuinely did like these brothers. And I didn't really want to embarrass them personally, but I wanted people to hear and see the policies that come down from above, from the governing body, how cruel they are, how unloving they are, and how quickly they throw people away, their fellow brothers and sisters. They just throw them out. You know, Jesus said to leave the 99 and go after the one, but they're very quick to toss the one out the door and off the cliff. Anyway, yes, if you get a chance, have a listen, if you can understand my Kiwi accent. And I had a friend who listened to it from America, and he said all he could visualise was sharks sitting around a table talking, and he was thinking of the sharks from Finding Nemo with their Australian accents, and I thought it was quite funny. Anyway, I will say goodbye here, don't want to bore you. Okay, bye.